What you don't control will end up controlling you. You see, I've learned something startling. A man can earn a fortune and lose it overnight. Not because he didn't know how to make money, but because he never learned to master himself. So the real question isn't, how do I make more? It's, can I govern what I already have? Tonight, we're not just going to talk about building wealth. We're going to talk about deserving wealth by mastering the four greatest forces that shape your destiny: your words, your emotions, your resources, and your thoughts. Because if you can't lead yourself, life will never let you lead anything greater. One of the most expensive things a person can do is make decisions while emotional. Think about it. How many times have you bought something not because you needed it, but because it made you feel better for a moment? How often do people invest in something because of hype, only to lose it all in panic later? Emotion is expensive. And the more wealth you want to build, the more control you'll need over your mood. The poor tend to react. They get upset and quit. They get excited and overspend. They feel jealous and make comparisons. The wealthy have trained themselves to respond, not react. They pause. They breathe. They reflect before they decide. And that space between stimulus and response, that's where maturity lives. That's where wisdom grows. And that's where your wealth is protected. I remember years ago, I lost a deal I was certain was going to come through. I was frustrated, even embarrassed. And for a moment, I almost made a reckless financial move just to feel like I was back in control. But I stopped myself and went for a walk instead. Not because I was wise at the time, but because I had seen others ruin their future by reacting too quickly. That walk saved me thousands. Sometimes, your strongest financial move is to pause. You see, wealth requires stability. A clear mind makes clear decisions, and clear decisions make compounded returns. But when you spend emotionally, whether it's at the mall, in the market, or in a relationship, you rob your future to soothe your present. And that's a dangerous trade. Train yourself to notice your mood before you reach for your wallet or make a major call, because the moment you learn to lead yourself, you earn the right to lead your wealth. Most people don't lose wealth because they didn't earn enough. They lose it because they never told it what to do. They get a paycheck, and before they know it, it's gone. No plan, no purpose, just movement. And the problem with money in motion without direction is that it rarely lands somewhere useful. The wealthy don't let that happen. They treat every dollar like an employee. It gets hired, trained, and assigned a task, and if it doesn't perform, they reassign it. The poor tend to treat money emotionally. They use it for comfort, for impulse, for image. But wealth isn't built on how much you spend. It's built on how well you command. See, a budget isn't a cage, it's a command center. Saving isn't sacrifice, it's strategy. Investing isn't gambling, it's planting. When you change the way you think about money's role, you begin to give it responsibility. And money, like people, responds to responsibility. I learned this when I was just getting started. I didn't have much, but I sat down and gave every dollar a name. This one went to savings. That one went to education. A few went to investments. Even $5 had a job. And suddenly, instead of feeling like I was losing control, I started gaining momentum. Because money, when it's guided with intention, creates direction. And direction is what separates financial chaos from financial confidence. Here's a truth you must remember. Money makes an excellent servant, but a terrible master. If you don't direct it, it will direct you into debt, into stress, into limitations. But the moment you decide to take command, even a small income can become a powerful engine. Don't wait until you have more. Start mastering what you have now. Because how you manage little reveals how you'll manage much. If you want to change your life, you have to change your mind, not just in theory, but in practice. Most people live like sponges, soaking up whatever opinions, doubts, distractions, and fears happen to float their way. But the mind isn't designed to be a sponge. It's designed to be a gate, a gatekeeper. It's meant to filter, to discern, to decide what gets in and what gets locked out. Because whatever enters your mind eventually becomes your beliefs. And beliefs are what shape your behavior, especially around money. When I was younger, I realized something strange. Two people can be given the same opportunity, the same advice, even the same resources, and one will grow rich while the other will stay broke. What's the difference? It's how they think. One guards his mind like a vault. He filters out negativity, laziness, limitation. He feeds on wisdom, discipline, and possibility. The other lets in every excuse, every fear, every toxic voice that says, you can't, or it's too late. And that difference in thought leads to a difference in life. So here's the key. You must begin treating your mind like prime real estate. You don't let just anyone walk into your home and rearrange your furniture, right? Then don't let just any thought walk into your mind and rearrange your future. Upgrade your inputs. Listen to people who stretch your vision, not shrink it. Read books that challenge your assumptions. Hang around thinkers, builders, doers, and talk to yourself with the language of purpose, not pity. Start each day with 5 minutes of intention. Ask yourself, what kind of thoughts will I entertain today? What beliefs do I need to release? What truth do I need to reinforce? Because if you don't train your mind, the world will do it for you. And the world isn't in the business of making you rich, it's in the business of keeping you average. Take back that power. Upgrade your thoughts. Upgrade your life. One of the greatest changes you can make on your path to wealth doesn't start in your wallet, it starts in your words. Most people don't even realize that every sentence they speak about money is either planting seeds of prosperity or seeds of poverty. The mouth is a messenger, and it's always sending signals to the mind. Speak scarcity long enough, and your mind begins to adjust to that tone. But speak possibility, and the mind starts to open doors instead of close them. I've heard it many times. People say, I'm just being honest when I say I'm broke. But understand this, honesty without awareness can be dangerous. When you constantly declare that you're broke, you're not just reporting your condition, you're reinforcing it. You're giving it identity, giving it roots. And anything you water consistently will grow. So if you water the language of limitation, you grow a life of limitation. You've got to shift your vocabulary if you want to shift your bank account. Instead of saying, I can't afford that, ask, how can I afford it? That little change may seem simple, but it forces the brain to seek solutions rather than shut down. One keeps you poor, the other wakes up your creativity. The wealthy speak in ways that provoke action. They say, I'm finding a way, or I'm building capacity. Their words carry the tone of ownership, not victimhood. Now, I'm not asking you to lie to yourself or walk around pretending to be a billionaire. I'm saying speak with intention. Speak as if your words are building the frame for your future, because they are. Years ago, I caught myself saying, I can't do that, far too often. One day, I decided to make a rule I would replace it with, I'm learning how to. That single switch changed the way I approached challenges. It gave me permission to grow. Remember, the subconscious mind listens with perfect obedience. Whatever you repeat with emotion, it begins to accept as truth. So train it wisely. Reframe your self-talk. Reword your money language. Because the moment your mouth aligns with your goals, your life begins to follow. When it comes to building wealth, one of the simplest yet most powerful habits is knowing exactly where every dollar goes. Many people complain, money is tight, yet they have no real understanding of how their money flows. This isn't a problem of scarcity, it's a problem of lost control. If you don't know where your money is going, how can you expect it to grow? You're letting your hard-earned dollars wander aimlessly, and in doing so, you give up the power to direct your financial future. Think about a farmer who plants seeds without knowing which rows are watered or which fields yield the best crops. That farmer wouldn't last long. Wealth works the same way. It requires tracking, tending, and strategic care. The rich treat their money like those seeds, carefully allocating each dollar to a specific purpose. Saving, investing, paying bills, or even spending. This discipline ensures that money works efficiently and doesn't leak away unnoticed. But tracking every dollar isn't about obsessing over pennies or creating unnecessary stress. It's about empowerment, knowing that every dollar has a job and you're in charge of assigning it. When you write down or use tools to monitor your spending, you bring clarity to your finances. You begin to see where you're wasting money, where you can cut back, and where you should invest more. From my experience, the most transformative moment is when you see your money not as something to be spent freely, but as something to be managed strategically. That's when you start making intentional choices. I remember a time early in my career when I tracked every expense. It was humbling, but it gave me insights that changed how I spent and saved. I realized I was spending on things that didn't serve my goals and that small leaks were slowly draining my potential. Wealth grows in the details, and those details come from measurement. The wealthy measure what matters. They understand that what gets measured gets managed, so take control. Start tracking your money, not to become obsessed, but to empower yourself. Because once you know where every dollar's going, you begin to direct where it's going to take you. The people you surround yourself with hold incredible power over your future more than most realize. Your mouth, your mood, your mind, they are all influenced by those closest to you. If your friends mock discipline, dismiss the importance of budgeting, and chase fleeting pleasures without regard to consequence, then you are training your mind for poverty, whether you intend to or not. The environment you choose becomes the soil where your thoughts and habits grow. If that soil is barren or toxic, no amount of desire will yield a prosperous harvest. Consider this. Every conversation, every laugh, every shared complaint or encouragement shapes your thinking. If you spend your days with people who gossip about money or boast about reckless spending, your own beliefs will start to echo theirs. Wealthy people understand this deeply. They protect their circle with the same vigilance. They protect their portfolio. They seek company that challenges them, that expands their vision, and that encourages discipline. Their circle becomes a mirror, reflecting who they want to become. In my life, I've found that success is less about what you know and more about who you learn from. Early on, I surrounded myself with people who had a hunger for growth, people who read, who planned, who believed in possibility. Their mindset rubbed off on me. It helped me see beyond my limitations and inspired me to think bigger. When you choose your associations wisely, you build a fortress of wisdom, motivation, and accountability around yourself. So the question is, who are you spending your time with? Are they elevating your thinking or dragging it down? The company you keep either propels you toward wealth or holds you back in poverty. Choose your circle with intention. And you'll find that controlling your mouth, mood, and mind becomes easier because you've created an environment that supports the highest version of yourself. Wealth begins here with the people you allow into your world. Your mouth might urge you to indulge in pleasures right now, that new gadget, that night out, that impulse purchase, but your future self is quietly whispering a different message. Build today so you can truly enjoy tomorrow. This is the essence of delayed gratification, a discipline that separates those who accumulate wealth from those who remain trapped in cycles of want and regret. Delaying gratification isn't about denying yourself happiness. It's about understanding that true freedom requires preparation. The wealthy know that saying no to short-term pleasures is actually a yes to long-term abundance. It's like planting seeds in fertile soil. You don't eat the seed itself, but you nurture it, water it, and protect it so it can grow into a fruitful tree that will provide shade and sustenance for years to come. This daily discipline might mean skipping that extra coffee or dining out less often. It might mean resisting the urge to buy a new outfit or the latest tech gadget. It means training your mind to value investment over immediate consumption. This practice is not punishment. It's a conscious choice to prepare a foundation that will support a richer, freer life. From my own experience, I remember the early days when I had very little. I wanted many things, but I learned that the quickest way to financial hardship was to chase instant gratification. Instead, I started small, saving a bit, investing time in learning, and holding off on expenses that weren't necessary. Each time I said no to a fleeting pleasure, I was saying yes to a future where I wouldn't be held hostage by financial worries. The power of delayed gratification lies in its consistency. It's a muscle built one decision at a time, one sacrifice after another. It teaches patience, self-control, and vision. When you practice this daily discipline, you shift from being a slave to your impulses to being the master of your financial destiny. Remember, every time you choose to wait, you're investing in freedom. Freedom to live life on your terms, to say yes to opportunities, and to build a legacy. That's the real reward of delayed gratification. Not just more money, but more control, more peace, and more choice. The foundation of every financial decision begins long before you touch your wallet. It starts in your mind. Your thoughts shape your actions, and your actions shape your reality. If you want to build lasting wealth, you must first build mental habits that reinforce financial discipline. These are not just ideas, they are daily practices that cultivate the mindset needed to handle money wisely and confidently. Gratitude is one of the most powerful mental habits you can develop. When you focus on what you have instead of what you lack, you fight off envy and dissatisfaction. Envy clouds judgment, leads to reckless spending, and blinds you to opportunities already present. By practicing gratitude every day, you create a mental environment where contentment and generosity flourish, a fertile soil for wealth to grow. Vision writing is another vital habit. Writing down your financial goals transforms vague dreams into concrete objectives. It's one thing to think, I want to be rich, and quite another to write, I will save $10. Zero in the next year. Or, I will invest in my education monthly. The act of putting pen to paper creates accountability and clarity. It fuels your motivation and guides your decisions toward what truly matters. Silence, often overlooked, is essential. In a world buzzing with noise and distractions, silence allows you to reflect, plan, and listen to your inner voice. Taking time to pause helps you gain clarity, make better choices, and avoid impulsive reactions to market hype or social pressure. It's in these moments of quiet that your true financial vision takes shape. I recall my own journey, the times I would sit quietly, writing down what I wanted my financial future to look like, and cultivating gratitude even when the bank account was low. Those mental habits gave me strength and direction when circumstances were uncertain. They shaped my financial habits, saving regularly, investing wisely, and resisting needless expenses. The stronger your inner world becomes, the more control you'll have over your external financial world. Mental toughness, clarity, and intentionality become the roots from which wealth grows. When your mind is disciplined, your money follows naturally. Master these mental habits, and you will master your financial life.